sixth question. Now, any introduction is to write about Indian Federation. India has adopted a quasi-federal polity which is dynamic nature, that it is still evolving. And by and large you can consider that it has worked as per the scheme of cooperative federalism. This you can say that. So any introduction you can write India has adopted a quasi-federal state in which union has been given more powers vis-a-vis states guided by Schedule 7. So that can be introduction, which always we say that you should write introduction. If you have better writing skill, you can write introduction. If you do not have writing skill, jaise taise you are trying to write, so we cannot help in that way. After writing this, write a bit, let's say that you can say about 246, how Schedule 7, this, and in this, how let's say that union has been given more power vis-a-vis, let's say, the union has been given more power vis-a-vis states. Federal polity. This, we can start. Then let's say that the question is saying that, let's see what question is successful functioning of federal, critically analyze. Now when we see critically analyze, in this case critical analysis means you have to give on this federal supremacy. Why we need critical analysis? The critical analysis means federal supremacy. So when we say federal supremacy, the federal supremacy, first people will not understand what is the context, let's say that. So this, and you have to go in depth. Critical here, you have to be in depth into this, not rejection, let's say that. This does not mean rejection. This you should know that. You don't have to reject the question, you have to explain it. So then after saying that how a bit of basics related to Indian federal polity, then you have to talk about context. There are recent 2 cases you'll find that. Generally we tell whenever you have any such question which is related to current, so you can start even by writing context. You can just context, or recently this development has happened, you can link it. That way, let's say your answer will be connected to the present developments. So here when we talk context, so in this, let's say that when we talk, so context, let's say, so context you should rescind judgment. One is called CBI related, CBI case, and second is related to GST. You should know that in case of this CBI case, states, over 7-8 states have not renewed their memorandum of understanding. Right. So they have not continued the memorandum of understanding for CBI inquiry. And in case of this, Supreme Court has given a judgment. The Supreme Court has given a judgment that its decision is not binding. Right. Its decision is not binding on states. Now let's take that. If its decision is not binding, so then let's say what will happen to GST implementation? It is being argued that GST may fail if states refuse to obey GST Council decision. Hence, it demands that if there should be federal supremacy. This federal supremacy means union should be given more power vis-a-vis states. But in GST Council, what it has given? In GST Council, union somehow seems to be equal to states, because states have also been given equal power. It is like giving equal power also when they can refuse not to accept decision. So this arrangement may result into, this is how it has been argued, this may result into lack of implementation of GST. Now let's say come to here. So here let's say CBI is the, let's say, apex body, apex investigation body, and when it is apex investigation body, so there are federal crimes. there are crimes which are federal in nature, which will affect our country as a nation, even if they happen in a state. But so a crime happening in the state affecting the nation, and a state does not agree with CBI inquiry, it affects the national interest. It affects the national interests. So in this case, when it affects the national interest, hence let's say that we have to understand that federal supremacy means without federal supremacy, can we govern our federation? So that is how it is being argued. So we need to have federal supremacy now. Federal supremacy is one thing, and let's say that dominance of union over states, it is another thing. Union should not be coercive towards a state, rather it should have a more cooperative approach. At the same time, let's say since our country is union of states and union has let's say preference over states, so states should not start behaving as if they are equal to center. If states starts behaving as if they are equal to center, and then they have conflicts with union, or they start confronting, or they start saying, no, we will not allow center of this and that. So that affects the federal supremacy. That will affect our national interest. And in that sense, let's see, it goes against even the basic structure doctrine of our federal polity. Federal polity is a basic structure doctrine. Hence, it is a new development. As of now, we are arguing that states should get autonomy. But here what we are arguing is that states, how much autonomy they should get. And does it mean in the name of autonomy, they are free to, let's say, tell anything, say anything, or they will not cooperate with center, they will question the union authority? There can be two types of union authority. One, union has its own authority as a government, and second, the authority coming from the constitution. So when they are not signing memorandum of understanding with CBI, and let's say that they are refusing here, or they get equal power, so can we say that it is going against the spirit of the constitution? And it seems that it is going against the spirit of the constitution. That's why one case has been filed in Supreme Court from this perspective, that federal supremacy should also be protected, not only the autonomy of the states. And that is how states will have to understand the limitations of their federal powers, and then our federal polity can work. And that should be your approach while answering this question.